Good evening, everyone. We've got a short and sweet session today. We'll just talk about 3 problems and 3 solutions. Nothing complicated in today's session, right? We'll talk of some very simple basic things. The objective here is to uh, the objective here is very simply to communicate these things across to you so that you can include these in your daily preparation, right? So that's the simple agenda. Nothing complicated, nothing out of the world, uh, no secrets as such. Basic, pure, and simple common sense things that I want you guys to include in your preparation, right? So that is something that we'll be doing in this particular session. Now, as far as the structure of the session goes, before you guys ask me any questions, I'll just clarify that to you. I'll be talking about 3 tips, right? These are 3 specific things, 3 specific points, 3 specific challenges with respect to RCs. There are slides related to these. It's a very short presentation, right? So these slides are going to be related to these 3 things. During the course of running these slides, I will only stick to the questions related to these. I'll give you the opportunity to ask questions related to those particular slides. Anyone asking me anything outside of that, apologies in advance. I won't be answering that because that breaks the flow, right? So whatever questions you have, it's a short session anyways, 30 minutes. Whatever session questions that you have outside of these slides, I will only take those up after we finish those slides. I think that's a fair enough way of doing things, right? So that we can get through the content as well as I can take your questions as well. So that's the process that we are going to adopt, right? Couple of questions already there, Mayank. In the paid course, we have sessions, depends on the module, 4 to 5 sessions a week, depends, right? For RCs we had 4 sessions. In the coming weeks will vary between 4 to 6. Prem, we will be starting with some morning or weekend classes. We'll be running a small survey, and then on the basis of that, we'll see that how many people sign up for those, right? Ayushi, everything is planned. We'll generally keep these Wednesdays with WordPundit sessions, try to keep them at least 3 Wednesdays out of 4 every month, right? Take a break every now and then, so we'll cover a wide scope of topics, right? So let's get started, guys. First we'll go through the slides. We'll try to finish these in 20 minutes, and the last 10 minutes I'll try to take up all your questions, right? So that's what we'll try to do. The first part, before we say anything or before we consume any content, right? And this is something that I want fundamentally all of you to believe in, right? This is not about any course. This is not about any specific thing in RCs. This is something that I basically tell all my students all the time, 24/7, that RC prep is a process, right? It's a process that you commit to. You read, you analyze, you repeat, right? And you include practice as well. Read, analyze, practice, repeat. You keep moving in this infinite loop. You do not question this process. Very simply, you do not know the day when it is going to start to click, right? When all of it comes together and it starts to click. Why should you wait for any particular day for this to happen? Let's take up a simple mathematical equation here, right? So assuming you read 3 articles a day, solve 3 RCs a day. If I assume 150 days of prep from this point onwards, you will cover 450 plus articles, you will cover 450 plus RCs, right? But over a period of time, over the next 150 days, this will be 900 plus pieces of information, right? And there is no limit to this. You can, if you want, you can increase it to 4 a day, right? So you can take this up straight away to 1200 pieces of information. You can take it up to 1400 pieces of information. That depends on you, right? Now, this is a simple mathematical number, right? There is no science behind this as such, right? But if you think about it, if you put in your systems 900 pieces of information, right? 900 pieces of information, if you put those in, what is going to happen over a period of time? When you put in those 900 pieces of information, what happens? you basically learn about 900 or 1000 different things in the world, right? Now, our first challenge when we solve RCs is the first challenge that we guys face is all of a sudden you read any context, that context is completely alien to you, and what do you feel about it? Your brain kind of shuts down, right? It says, it gives you the stimulus, I don't understand this, I don't like to read this. So how do you counter that? You counter that by expanding your knowledge base, right? So that's what you've got to do in this particular case, right? You've got to expand your knowledge base over a period of time. You've got to add those things, right? So it's a continuous path. You have to be on that path of solving RCs. You have to be on that path of reading, right? Unless and until you increase your knowledge base, the first problem that you face in RCs, that's the first basic problem. You will start a mock, you will read something, right? Now all of a sudden you read that particular thing. What happens is, if it is alien to you, right, what is your brain going to tell you? Your brain is going to tell you that I don't understand this, I don't understand this, I don't like to read this, I'm getting bored, this is too difficult, I want to quit. Now that's the first issue that you need to evolve. That is the first issue that you have to overcome, right? And how do you do that? By consuming these pieces of information. So that's the first part for you guys. It's a process, right? And remember one more thing, it might not be clicking for you today, you might not be improving. At the end of 1 month, if you say, let's suppose you read 3 articles a day and 3 RCs a day, you're very, very regular. At the end of 30 days, how many articles and RCs would you have consumed? Simple mathematics, right? You would have consumed 90 each, 180, right? At the end of 1 month. At the end of 2 months, 360. At the end of 3 months, 540, right? It's simple. Now, what is the number that it clicks for you? Each one of us is different, so we don't know when is it that is going to click for us, right? That exact moment when all of a sudden things make sense, our knowledge has increased to sufficient levels, we begin to understand these things. When does that happen, right? So that is something that each one of us has to learn, right? Each one of us has to, there will be a moment when it is going to click for you. Till that time, please be super patient about it, right? Do not expect changes, right? Do not expect overnight changes. That is not going to happen, right? Now, if you are not improving, if your scores are not improving, things are not improving, you work more, you don't work less, right? Now I will give you one very genuine scenario which happens, which most of you should actually agree to. Now, when you get bored with English, or when scores don't improve, or when you get frustrated with English, what do you start to do? You pick up Quant and start practicing problems, right? Or LRDI, whichever out of those 2 subjects that you like, right? So you will instantly start to do that. And now all of a sudden, when you're doing maths, you will see progress. You will see, you will be able to solve questions, you will be able to learn methods. More than anything else, that ability to learn a method to solve a question is going to give you a sense of satisfaction, and that sense of satisfaction is going to then prove to you that I'm learning in Quant, but I'm not learning in VARC. The thing is, the definition of learning in VARC is very different, right? The definition of learning in VARC is not that particular method to solve a question, is not that solution, right? Now, on the other hand, the definition of learning in VARC is, if you do not understand the subject of philosophy, if you do not know anything about politics, you get analytical about it, you learn different terms, you look up about different philosophers, you understand what they have said, you build your knowledge base, you build this network, you build this mesh of interconnected things where you begin to understand things, right? So that's how you learn. Once you've built that mesh, so it's a safety net that you've built for yourself. You're not going to fall then, but that build, it's like a spider, right? So VRC prep, you have to be a spider in VRC prep. You have to build your web of knowledge. If you don't build your web of knowledge, it's the perfect analogy. If you don't have that web of knowledge, something's going to drop and that web is going to break, right? So make sure that you make that web as dense as possible, as consistent as possible, right? So that's something that you've got to do. One reminder to all of you, since some of you are sending messages to all panelists only, so reminder, anyone who's in the session, please send messages to all panelists and attendees. Everyone else will be able to see your message. Ojasvi, your answer is WordPundit. This is a session run by WordPundit. So when you'll ask me a question such as tell the best source for RCs, the obvious answer to that is going to be WordPundit, right? Or Keshav, we share PDF, we share content already, right? I don't think so. This session should be about content and PDFs, right? So that should not be the general intent of the session, and that's something that we should not be discussing, right? That's not the best use of a live session. Next thing, guys, reading related challenges, right? I will give you one solution today, right? I will solve one problem for you, one small little problem for you, right? So that's something that I'm going to do. Shravya, A, please send messages to all panelists and attendees. B, the only RC source that I'll be discussing is WordPundit. I'll not be discussing outside sources. A, that's not the right thing to do. B, it's a session by WordPundit. So please let's stick to WordPundit, right? Next thing, guys, Utkarsh, your question is solve techniques. Please tell the techniques to solve verbal logic and conclusion based questions in RCs. A, this is outside the scope of this session, Utkarsh, right? B, rather than focusing on specific techniques, please focus on broad based understanding, right? Rather than going in for specific questions, right? So because for logic and conclusion based questions, it's actually about the first thing that you would have to work on is critical reasoning, right? So work a lot more on critical reasoning. That's something that's going to help you rather than specifically that question type, right? Shubham, totally depends upon you. It's not about the length of the articles at times, right? There are some really super fascinating, really wrong articles to read. In general, read it up till a point. It's not about, I keep repeating it, it's not about accumulation of facts. You should not, a 5,000 word article is going to give you a lot of facts. After 2,000 words, 1,500 words, if you've understood the context of that passage, right? If you've understood the basic gist of it, right? So then that is something that that is the point that you can quit reading that particular article, right? It's about understanding of topics rather than accumulation of facts. That's something that you've got to remember, right? That's why solving a lot of CR questions. That's by solving a lot of CR questions, right? Guys, again, I will request you, right? Please stick to the questions that we have, stick to the things that we have on the slides. So Himanshu, I'll be honest, I'll not be answering your question now, right? Because that takes me away from the slides, right? We are discussing everything in the comments other than the particular slides. So if that is now how this session, will not be able to run this session smoothly. Let me get through the slides. We are on slide number 3, right? We only have 9 slides. Once we finish the content on these slides, right, then only we are going to then only I'll take your questions. Otherwise it's not possible, right? It's just breaking the flow again and again, right? Guys, am I audible for all? Just let me type in a message. Great, guys. So now the first set of things that we are going to discuss now here is, which is related to this particular slide. If your retention is slow, right? If your retention is slow, my screen is not available. I don't get it, guys. Are you able to see this screen? Are you able to see the PPT? Ashish, then it's something with your settings. Guys, if you find any such questions, please answer those yourself where you can help others, right? So that's going to help me out as well. If your retention is slow, if your retention is low, if you're not able to retain content, right? The simplest thing in the world to do is you make notes. How do you make notes, right? For every paragraph, just ask yourself what is the main point and subject. What is the one key thing that paragraph is about? Nothing else. Don't do anything else. It's a waste of time. Just the one. Occasionally paragraphs will give you 2 points, right? 1 to 2 points, that is it. Now at the end of that passage you should have a skeleton, right? That para 1 says this, para 2 says this, para 4 says this. Just have a rough skeleton of the passage in your mind. For specific questions you will have to go back and refer to the passage. No one can remember all the content, so don't even attempt it. Don't beat yourself about it. Don't worry about it, right, too much. Second, if your reading speed is slow, remember reading speed is a factor of your comprehension. So if your comprehension improves, your reading speed is going to improve itself. Now if you forcibly try to increase your reading speed, what you will see is you might be able to read passages quicker, but you will lose comprehension, which the purpose is going to, you will self-defeat your purpose, right? So at this stage of your preparation, read as much as you can, understand as much as you can. If you do 3 articles a day, 2 months down the line, your reading speed would have automatically improved, right? Your reading speed is going to improve on its own, right? Third thing, if you're not able to comprehend passages, you find the terms to be too difficult, I have one simple way of doing things for you guys, one simple technique for you guys. In order to do that, read this paragraph once. Just take 1 minute, read this slowly, read this paragraph once. Once you've read the paragraph, just mention read. Right, in this case what has happened is we've got a lot of these terms which have been thrown at your end, right? So when I say terms, what the author has done is over the past 2 decades, courts have gone far in their interpretation of civil rights legislation, African American participation throughout the workforce. Much ground has been gained in this fight against an institutionalized inequality that has become ingrained in our collective psyche. Though there are some who remain concerned that the situation of African American managers has only made limited progress in certain industries, right? So this seems to be very, it's a dense paragraph, right, which uses all these different terms. Now there is this simple method of substituting things that you can do in this particular case. What is this simple method that you will use? Can you replace African Americans by blacks? Right? Civil rights legislations, what does it mean? Very simply, can I say these are court cases to gain rights, right? Can I say this? And civil rights legislations, what would this mean? What are civil rights? Guys, easy definition of civil rights: rights of civilians, rights of people, right? That the rights people have. Now you replace it by court cases to gain rights, right? Institutionalized inequalities, right? Now what are institutions, guys? Anyone? Any simple definition for institutions? Institutions are what? Organizations, governments, the way society functions, different, you might have groups, organizations, institutions, educational, universities, departments. These are all governments, institutions, organizations. Now have you guys heard of a situation where there are certain companies or there are certain governments which are against certain communities? Have you heard of that previously? That people discriminate on the basis of color, caste, creed. We've all heard of these things, right? Companies might boycott people from certain backgrounds, right? Now, when they do that as what? They don't do that as individuals, they do that as institutions. Right? So that is what institutional inequality is. It's got ingrained in your institutions itself. Your institutions in the country itself, they are unequal, they are biased, right? Now, can you replace the paragraph again with these simple terms? Over the last 2 decades, courts have gone far in their interpretation of court cases to ensure blacks participation in the workforce. So courts have gone far in their interpretation. That means they have gone a long way. They have gone forward, right? They have gone a long way. Much ground has been gained in this fight. So that means a lot of progress has been made against an institutionalized inequality. That means inequality in our institutions, in our systems, there has been progress made that has become ingrained in our collective psyche. So collective psyche refers to what? The way society thinks, right? The way society thinks in total. Right? Collective psyche is not psyche of an individual. Collective psyche refers to the way society is thinking. Now, obviously, it is going to refer to collective psyche because it is referring to institutionalized inequality. Institutionalized inequality is further related to society itself. There are some, though, who remain concerned that the situation of black managers has made only limited progress in certain industries. So all of a sudden, what did you do? The simplest possible skin in the world. What did you do? You converted something complicated into something simpler by replacing it with simpler substitutes, right? Now, over a period of time, this is how you've got to train yourself to read, right? Don't read complicated terms. Whenever you read African Americans, it should instantly click to you as blacks, right? You're not being racist here. It's a way of simplifying information for yourself, right? That's what you are doing. So once you begin to do this, once you begin to understand these small little nuances, you will see you would have improved your reading efficiency by significant amounts. All of a sudden, context which appeared tougher now is simpler to understand because you've replaced with easier terms, right? So replace it with terms that you understand, that you understand, and your understanding and comprehension is going to improve. So that's one thing that you do with your reading activities from now onwards, and this is something that you are going to include in your reading activities. If you do that, you will see the changes taking place, right? Now, next issue that a lot of you would be facing is you would be getting very low scores, right? Or low scores in general. Now this would lead to low morale. You would be feeling completely, how many of you are feeling frustrated with VRC and feel there is no hope of improvement? You feel that this is not really working out, right? Now what are your average scores? Have you taken a mock? Average score in a mock? Just the range that you are in, stuck in, 40, 10, 12, 45, 66%, 35, 30. So I'll just assume your average score is say 20. You are at 20 or you are at 30, right? Now, if your average score is 30, let's assume for a second, it can be 10, 15, 20, any amount, right? Now, if that is your average score, now when the next mock that you take, what is going to be your target? What will you be targeting in the next test? Whenever you take a test, what is it that you target from BARC? Now the problem with that is that overnight, if you are at 30 or you are at 25 or 30, you are actually going to struggle, right? For the simple reason that you are not, there is no human way you can go from 30 to 50 or 60, even if you do on the basis of guesswork, right? Because there are going to be times in VARC where your day was really, really good. You made a lot of guesses and fortunately all of those guesses turned out to be correct, right? So that is your lucky day, right? Now you're not going to get that situation every now and then, and generally in the exam you screw up, you have reverse luck, right? You really have some horrible luck in the exam. Now, the simplest thing for you guys to do as of today with respect to marks that you're getting in mocks, even if you're getting 10, 15 or 20, accept that, right? And just accept that. Don't really expect yourself to override change, or don't expect for you to have gained anything, right? Don't have any expectations of yourself. So now if you sit in the next test, if your average score was 30 and you went in with that mindset that today what I'll do is I'll not try to get 30, I'll try to get 33, but I'll not try to get 33 by increasing my attempt, pushing myself too much, but by simply reducing the mistakes. How do you score 30 in a test, right? So let's assume +3 -1, right? That you did. You got 12 correct and you got 6 incorrect, assuming all of them were -1, right? You get a score of 30, right? You get that kind of a combination. So in the next test, if I give you a simpler target, go in with that mindset of only doing 15 or 16, right? You will leave questions, you will leave RCs, you will not push yourself to rush through the test, right? But you will try to make sure that the 13 or 14 you get them absolutely correct. You solve them by eliminating options. You don't select answer options. D is incorrect, B is incorrect, A is incorrect, C is incorrect. B is the only one that is left. So even if you move slower, if you can do that, and you can genuinely push up your score by even +3, right? So that is going to help you. Atul, A, send message to all panelists and attendees. B, this is not about working on accuracy. I would not call on that, right? You can interpret is that what I'm saying is, please remove the burden of expectation of yourself, right? At times we burden ourselves with too much. We expect too much of ourselves, and that ends up wrecking our attempt, because if you go into that mindset, aggressive mindset in the test that you really want to push yourself, and if you're struggling with a section, what is going to happen is you will keep pushing yourself, you will keep taking those chances, you will mark answers that you should not have, you will not spend sufficient time on questions, and you will end up scoring worse, right? So the easier way to correct that is accept where you are, have acceptance. Parallelly, you are working on your knowledge, you are working on your process, you are increasing your knowledge on an everyday basis, right? So do not get greedy for scores, even right till the end. Do not have any expectations of scores. Once you take away that mental pressure, you will realize that you are doing much better, right? Asta, if you have no consistency, then this is even more important for you, right? Take your the set of lowest possible scores that you get, right? Assume that as your baseline and start working from that, right? Don't have the burden of expectations. The burden of expectations is what is going to drown you, right? So that is something that is going to do. There is no short-term fix for it. If you expect that it's going to change overnight, it is not. You're going to struggle with it. The one thing that you can do is identify the kind of passages that trouble you the most. So that's super important, right? Because if you can identify the source of the problem, that these are the kind of areas that I do not understand, then you give yourselves a chance to improve in those areas, right? So history, politics, sociology, psychology, philosophy, some of the tougher areas, right? So make sure you attack these areas one by one. Make sure you do that, right? So that's how you fix it, and be super honest with yourself, right? Identify why you're scoring low. Are you reading enough? Are you practicing enough, right? What is your VRC level in general? Did you read from a long time back, or you just started reading, right? So if you read for a month, I get a lot of these messages where people have joined the course, or they are reading for kids who are reading for 15 days, 20 days. They say, we've read 50 articles, we've not improved at all. That is not sufficient reading, right? 50 articles should not even count, right? So that is how you change your perspective. Absolutely, Kaushik, anywhere. Solve without any expectations. You will see that the burden is going to lift off you. The moment you have no expectations of yourself, the burden is going to lift off you, and your attempt in the exam is going to improve. That's how you should think about it. That's how you should approach it, right? Asta 3 a day. Keep pushing yourself. 2 weeks if you're comfortable, but don't go to 3 if you think you will quit. 2 RCs a day, 2 articles a day for the next 2 weeks. Then after that, increase it to 3. Then after that, increase it to 4. Keep pushing yourself. Keep nudging yourself. You can even take it up to 5. You can even take it up to... you can do that. Make read it in half. Again, it's about ideas, right? So for example, Aeon article, it is about, say, narcissism or virtue signaling or any such topic. Then your objective has to be, then you skip to researching that particular thing. you go and explore what virtue signaling is, right? You go and read that. So that is something that you've got to do. Nikhil, eliminate the options. A, please send your question to all panelists and attendees so that everyone else can see it, right? How to eliminate the answer options, that just goes outside the scope of what we are discussing right now. So essentially what you've got to do is you've got to check for different things. What is the question asking? The most common mistake is that we actually don't answer the question itself. We get misled by something that we've read previously in the passage, or it's an extreme answer option, things, etc., etc. So those are all different things, right? I'll not be able to take up these questions, Astha and Nikhil, because they go outside the scope of what we are discussing right now, right? So I'll take your questions at the end of the session, right? That way it's going to work better. Atul, you can do both, right? Make sure you keep reading on that particular area. You keep increasing your knowledge. That is an absolute must, right? So that's something that you've got to do. Rahul, you will never be truly able to decide by looking at the questions itself, whether they are difficult or easy. That's difficult to do. Read the first paragraph of the passage. If you are comfortable with it, go ahead, attack that passage. As simple as that. You will truly, there is always that element of risk involved. It to be able to perfectly select a passage, that's not really does not work. So it's about subject identification. These are the areas that I'm comfortable with. These are the areas that I easily understand, and these are the areas that I should be solving first in the exam. So that's how you go about it, right? Next, guys, next related problem of low accuracy, right? Now, since this is connected to low scores, so just extending the same discussion in this particular case, right? Your scores might be varying too much. That might be a problem. Astha, you have that issue. Your accuracy might be low, especially taking timed tests. So there is a sea of difference between timed and untimed RCs. Untimed RCs, you will see your performance improving significantly, right? Now, the moment if your scores are low with timed tests, that's actually an indicator that you need to always solve with a timer on. Right, that's not an indicator that you need to avoid timed tests, because at the end of the day you will face a situation where you have to solve RCs within a given time limit. Hence, do not avoid timers, right? Next thing, scores and accuracy, both things are connected with two things here. A, the topics that you are uncomfortable with. B, the question type that troubles you. Now, the most common question which Astha you asked me on the previous slide, that you are confused between eliminating between two answer choices. It seems as if that question is connected to the issue of low accuracy. Guys, now when you are not able to eliminate between two answer choices, right? Let's suppose you had A, B, C, D. You eliminated C and D and you are left only with A and B, right? Muskan, not needed with reading as such. Just push yourself to be active and engaged while reading, right? RC is practice with a timer. Now, if you are left with two options A and B, and if you are truly not able to eliminate them, what does it signify, guys? Most of us, we say that we are not able to eliminate between two options. That is what most of us say. That we were able to eliminate two options easily and then we were stuck with two answer options. Actually, if you think about it, when questions are made, can I say this, that generally two options are actually very easy. They are not connected, they are illogical in nature. You can easily eliminate them. That's how questions are made. And the two options that you are struck with are actually the options which were tough in their wording, in their phrasing, in the way they were built. So that's why you were stuck in those two options, because you could not understand what they truly mean or imply, or how do you differentiate between the two. Am I fair in my assessment, Astha? So that's what is actually happening. That's why people get stuck between two options, because they actually are not able to differentiate between the meaning of those two. Now, if you are not able to differentiate between the meaning of two answer options, right, what does it signify? What does it signify? What is the problem then? The problem are not those two particular answer options. The problem is your ability to comprehend. Your ability to understand, it is your ability to understand sentences. VARC at the most elemental of levels is nothing else but understanding words and sentences. VARC is nothing else but just understanding words and sentences and what they mean. The more you understand words, the more you understand sentences, the more you understand answer options. So completely throw out any such thing which you might have learned which implies I am unfortunately or fortunately, uh, I see a lot of these videos, especially on YouTube, which say use X method to solve RCs, use the preview technique to solve RCs, use X, Y, Z. The list just goes on. Do this, do this, do this to solve RCs. Honestly speaking, that's actually the biggest possible load of bullcrap that is out there, right? Because what happens is most of these videos, most of these techniques, they are built from the perspective of one RC where they are applicable, right? And the person reverse analyzes it for you, that see how I use this technique to solve this question. That's ridiculous nonsense, does not work overall. The only thing that works on a long-term consistent basis is your ability to understand things, your knowledge, your connection between words, from words to sentences, understanding complicated sentences. Now my question to you guys is very simple question, and I want all of you who are attending, there are quite a few of you who are here, to answer this question. How would you understand complicated sentences? Answer options are nothing else but these are condensed complicated sentences. How would you understand them? You would only understand complicated sentences if you've been sufficiently exposed to them, right? So you read quality sources, you solve a lot of these options, right? Then you begin to understand those. If you don't do that, right, Utkarsha, not even about vocabulary in particular, right? You guys would agree that at times the simplest of words can form an answer option that we are actually not able to really understand or differentiate. So at times answer options are not even about vocabulary, they are about understanding those things. What does it really imply? So please guys, focus on that. Focus on building that over a long period of time. So that is what is going to truly sail your boat, right? Both you have to read as well as solve RCs. It's not an either or question, right? Guys, please send questions to all panelists and attendees. Don't send it to all panelists, then people won't be able to see your question, right? Now, just one simple illustration for you guys, just to prove my point, because that underpins the whole session that we've had today, right? A simple description of what I'm trying to prove. We started with it and we are going to end on the same point. If you read 3 articles a day and if you solve 3 RCs a day, if you solve 1 a day, you only put in 1 piece of information. 3 a day, you put in 3 pieces of information in your brain. 6 a day, you put in, or 7 a day, you put in 6-7 pieces of information in your brain, right? So that is why you increase your practice, you keep increasing the amount of reading that you are doing. You move from 1, 2, 3 articles a day, even 4 articles a day, because you have to fill the knowledge gaps in your brain. So that is the whole purpose of it, right? Fill in your knowledge gaps. So make sure you do that, right? And that is super vital. That is how you build knowledge over a longer period of time, right? We built our course precisely on this principle, right? We run the ultimate VARC course precisely based on the same principle. 3 to 4 live lectures a week as we go on, right? As we enter July, obviously time is going to be condensed, so we'll even have 6 sessions a week, right? So you get 75 live classes where we talk about everything in detail, the kind of things that we've talked about today, right? So we'll be doing that. We have 250 daily reads where we give 4 articles with summaries, 1 passage analysis PDF which has RC tone, passage tone, primary purpose, structure, how the author has written it on a daily basis, right? Plus you get 250 daily RCs, right? So you get an RC a day with 8 to 10 questions which have vocabulary, tone, primary purpose, main idea, inference, can be inferred, cannot be inferred, etc. All those different question types on a daily basis, built from the articles, built from Aeon, Guardian, etc. From these current articles that we share. We do this on a daily basis to push you, to make sure that you keep getting exposed to it. We give 5 editorials from the previous day's newspaper, so we share those as well. So these are current articles, 1000 plus RCs, different sections. We will cover all CAT previous year RCs. We'll cover topic wise RCs, everything in detail, plus recorded videos to help you with all the topics, topic wise reading material, question banks for all topics, right? Shrey, we do, I think you don't know of this section, so I'll just ping me, I'll send you the section. Yes, Shrey, we do. I'll send you the link where they are, right? Discussion board for the complete course material. You can post your questions. There's mentoring and expert guidance. We help everyone out. We keep doing new things. We keep pushing people to complete their targets, right? WhatsApp groups where we share content, where we share daily news articles, where we share your weekly tasks, right? And most importantly, we believe in this process, and the process is exactly the same in the course as well. You read, analyze, put in the hard yards, right? So you do that. Anukriti, yes, obviously reading articles is going to help, right? So you should read as much as you can. So it's going to help you for sure. Ayush, we've got different plans. So we've got a plan for 6,000, 7,000, 8,000, right? So we've got these different plans, basic, premium, ultimate, depending upon the number of tests, whether you take the GK course or not. These different courses, these are prices are inclusive of GST, 18% GST and 2% payment gateway charges. Ayushi, it's extremely important to keep small and simple targets, right? It's about learning. So change your perspective from whether you're doing VARC, you're just trying to expose yourself to as much information as stimulus as possible in the world, right? Absolutely, Kaushik, they would have an impact. You should absolutely solve previous year CAT questions. Gilbin, it's going to help. You should at least do it for a couple of articles a day. Even one article a day, it's absolutely fine. Don't do it for every article, otherwise it'll get too boring. Yep, Sumit, there will be a batch starting in July as well. Great guys, Friday we'll have a motivation and productivity session. We'll have another live class on Friday, right? And that one is going to be generic in purpose. We've just launched, Kirti, we've just started batch 6. We'll have the introduction class for it tonight, right? So that's batch 6 in progress. And so even if you join batch 6, that's absolutely fine. That introduction class is tonight, right? So if you join it today or tomorrow, you would have just missed the introduction, right? So we'll have it in about half an hour from now. Prem, the timing for this batch is unfortunately the same, 9 to 10. I know you've been wanting an early morning batch or a weekend batch. We'll try to figure out something. Sort of 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. Prem, you absolutely can't manage 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. Oh. Sumit, don't know the exact date, right? Achha, you're saying when we'll push it by September mid. The course is not going to end. It's going to run till that. Reading, videos, workshops. Now we will just run a survey. We need a certain minimum number of people. So Prem is one who's interested in it. We'll run another survey. We'll just try to form a WhatsApp group. Depending on if we get a certain minimum number of people, then we'll probably think about starting a weekend batch as well. GK will be through PDFs and videos, sort of no live classes. Himanshu, you can join here. The homepage as well has the different plans. Shubham, decision making will be included in the ultimate plan. Ayush, live classes 1 hour, 1 hour, 10 minutes. That's the maximum I keep it to. VARC is difficult than that. Himanshu, I've given you the link. You can join it here. Great, guys. So over and out for tonight, right? You can check out the courses. Competition, Kaushik? What do you mean by that? Competition always remains the same. It does not matter. Sure, Prem, I'll keep that in mind. Kaushik, competition really does not matter, right? Because at the end of the day, it is your preparation, your skill level. How do you take the test? We think it's a competitive exam, uh, which it is. The results are going to matter in that scenario, right? Ultimately, you get percentile ranks. But at the end of the day, when you take the test, you are the only one who's taking it. So it's not as if you're in a boxing ring and you have to beat the other person down. It's not a physical fight. It's you've only got to improve your improvement, your scores, your test. That's how it is. Ashish, there will be a batch in July. Exact dates are not out for the batch in July. Great, guys. Thank you very much for being here tonight. Right? We'll we'll have a shorter session on Friday. It's going to be a non-academic session, so we'll not be taking any academic questions in that. It's going to be just a general planning and productivity related session. So that's something that we'll do on Friday. Right? See you guys then. Prem, no batches between 8 to 9. We've got only 9 to 10. Ayush will assign you to batch 6. We don't have that. We will probably be releasing a practice RC's course, but we have not decided that, right? Great, guys. So I'll just Kriti, you can join it here, right? This is where you can join us. Yep, Shrey, see you in 20 minutes in the class. Yep, Sumit, recorded lectures are there. Shashwat, just leave me a message on WhatsApp. Just drop me a message. I will send you the link. Great, guys. Over and out for tonight.